views shared by our guests are their own and don't necessarily reflect those of the host, sponsors, or any affiliated groups. What you hear on this podcast is meant to inspire and inform. It's not intended as medical, psychological, or professional advice. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own inner guidance. Hi, this is Janie, and welcome to Waking Up One. I am super excited to introduce you to today's guest, Brenda Hardwick. Not only is Brenda an award-winning indie author who started writing at the age of 10 and writes fantasy, she is also an energy healer who sees people in person and online from her home in Porto, Portugal, where she lives with her dog Lilu, 2 of her 6 grandchildren, her son and son-in-law. Brenda, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say and share with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about you. You are an energy healer. What's that all about?
As an energy healer, I'm certified in several different modalities, Reiki and seraphic wisdom and several others. Primarily, I'm an angel communicator. I've been able to see angels since I was 3. That's my first memory of being able to see them. And when I was a child, I saw them as children, but they were see-through.
Wow.
I could see through them. They didn't have wings. Don't ask me why that didn't scare me to death. I have no idea, but it didn't. And I saw others around, the adult angels were kind of in the background. I didn't pay much attention to them because the kids, they played with me. I remember our backyard in Denver had a lilac bush. And I'm the oldest and used to crawl in there in the back, and it was a nice little cave. And I'd go in there by myself. I didn't, my sisters were busy with other things, and I would play in there.
Wow.
And they were always in there with me. And they were around for many years. Now I see them as I still don't see people with wings. It's energy signatures, depending on what group of angels they're with. Call them choirs. There are 9 choirs. The archangels, the guardian angels, cherubim. Okay. They're the ones that hang around us the most. The seraphim have taken an opportunity to work with us, but they're not always around. The rest of the angels have jobs, and I call them the administrative and, directing traffic.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I've been connected with them since I was a kid. So I know who they are. I've had people ask me, well, how do you know that that's Gabriel and this is so-and-so and that's, I just know who they are. I know their energy signatures. Each one of them is very different, and they will come in and get their information to me. They get the words to me. I say they talk to me, but that gives you the picture that they're speaking in a voice, and I hear it with my ears, and that's just not how it works. It's the words are in my head. Okay. Then through my life, most of my life, I spent time going, yeah, whatever, you guys. Yeah, because, human. We know better. I know better. And I still do that sometimes, not on purpose. It's kind of like an automatic response. Yeah, whatever. And then okay, well, wait a minute. Maybe I need to think about this. And they will, since I agreed to explore my gifts and see what I could do with them, and I think I was 40 when that happened, they've been very clear about, now, wait a minute. You said you were going to listen to us, and you're not listening.
So you didn't start using this, but you've had this since you were a little child, and then you were 40 years old when you started really
acknowledging
it. Other than, did you acknowledge it as a child? Was it the same thing? Was it like that telepathic communication when you were a child as well?
Yes. They were present and would voice in, they would say something when it was something important.
Okay.
I was 10. And I was at that age, I was really going through a crisis
Mhm.
period. My dreams were not what I would call good. And I asked for them to go away, and they said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes," because I was seeing, I would call them doomsday dreams. And it
Mm.
was disturbing because I felt like there was nothing I could do.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I was 10. My parents had been arguing all day long, just back and forth at each other. And we just steered clear when things like that happened. My father was not always a really nice person. I mean, now they have all these words for the things he did and
Right.
how he said things. And, but, back then they didn't.
Right.
And my bedroom was in the basement, and they were arguing. At that point, they were in the living room. And our house, it was kind of a circle. So if you came up the stairs, you could turn left or right, and either way you would get to the same place. I was in my room, and I think we were all just ducking, trying to stay out of the way.
Mm.
The voices and the level of the energy kept rising all day long. And it was early evening, I think. And the angels, they yelled. They said, "You need to go upstairs. Go upstairs." Why? I don't want to go upstairs. They're fighting. Go upstairs. You need to go upstairs. Okay, 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 okay. So I went up the stairs and I turned right, and they yelled, "No, go the other way, the other way." Like, okay, because I would have come in through the kitchen. Okay.
Mm.
I went the other way, so it was through my sister's room, and they were just, like I said, they were ducking. They were there, but
Mm.
they weren't doing anything. They were ducking. And I went through, and I came up into the living room behind my mother, and my dad was holding a gun on her.
Jeez. Ugh.
And I was like, okay, now what am I supposed to do? And they went quiet. They stopped talking. They stopped yelling at me. The angel stopped yelling, and my dad stopped. He made eye contact with me, and he looked at the gun and realized what he was doing. I saw the recognition.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh.
and he rolled the barrel open. I mean, this was an old Western. It was ivory hand. It was a beautiful weapon.
Mm.
It was just beautiful, and it was an antique. And he rolled it
Mm.
open, and he took the bullets out, and he said, "Here, get rid of those."
And you're 10.
What am I
Oh my
supposed to
god.
do? I don't know.
I
I
can't.
don't know. And I
Oh.
walked out, and in my head, I'm talking, what am I supposed to do with these? I can't throw them in the trash.
Mm.
You'll just get them out of the trash. And so I went to the bathroom and flushed them down the toilet. And then I went back downstairs. And the
Wow.
angels got quiet. They stopped yelling at me, and the arguing stopped. It was at that point my dad packed a bag and he left the house, and he never came back. He found his own place, and the divorce proceedings started.
And
And
you saved your whole family. I mean,
I did. And
mhm.
I mean, I didn't know that then.
Mm.
I didn't know that then. Um, and for a while, I think I remember thinking that it was my fault daddy left. But
Mm.
then I realized, no, it wasn't my fault. Throughout my life, they've shown up at times like that. And
Yeah.
so at the age of 40, I decided, maybe I ought to give this stuff a shot. And I started with tarot,
Mhm.
because the cards are so pretty. Of course,
Of course.
the first deck I chose was dragons, because I believe in dragons.
Mm.
Pretty sure I saw one day when I was in high school. But
Oh, tell me about that. You gotta tell me about that. You can't just say that and not share that story. Tell me what you saw.
I was 16. My mom had packed up the rest of them and left, the rest of my kids, the rest of my family, and left. And I refused because I was in love with my children's father. I was living with a girlfriend out in Montbello, and Montbello was new then. So it wasn't the homes were not all there. Her cul-de-sac was on the edge. And I mean, now it goes way past that, but her cul-de-sac was on the edge at that time.
Mhm.
We left one morning, and as we were coming out her door, we had to catch a city bus. I think it was two city buses to get to. We left out the door, and we came out the door and I stopped because there was a big brown dragon. It was brown, um, like sable brown, and it was female. Not sure why I knew that. And she was sitting perched on the roof 2 houses over, looking at me. And I was like, and my friend, her name is Terry. She saw it too. Um,
Oh, okay. Wow.
she saw it too. She backed into me because when after I came out the door, I didn't move. I was like, oh my, what? And she backed into me and turned around, cussing at me. What are you? And I just pointed, and she turned and looked. And she went back, finished locking the door, cussing at me and saying, "Don't be showing me nothing else like that. We need to go. We're going to miss the bus." And she grabbed my arm and drugged me. And I heard her take off. You could hear the air under the wings.
Like the wow. Wow.
There were three. We got to the bus stop. We got on the bus. Didn't see anything, you know, but
Mhm.
the whole light pole was wiggling like this.
Whoa.
She had like tapped it with
Whoa.
her foot,
Powerful.
and I she said, "Don't show me anything else. I don't want to see anything." Yeah, she was angry, and I don't know if it was fear or I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, and she would never talk about it. And she
Well,
would never
because it's
talk
not
about it.
something most of us have not seen a dragon except for in the
No,
movies.
yeah,
So,
she would not talk about it. And then I reconnected with her several years later, and she asked me if I remembered seeing that big giant bird.
uh-huh. Big
And I
giant
said,
bird. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
you
I said, "Oh yeah, I remember." She said, "Yeah, that was something else." And then she changed the subject again. And I was just like, "Okay, leave it alone. Just leave it alone." But I got the confirmation that she really did see it.
what do you suppose they are, or why is it that they like show up like that? And I mean, if two of you saw it, obviously there was something there. Just
I think they're from here. I
mm-hmm.
think they're on a different plane of existence,
Mm-hmm.
and they come in and we see them every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Sasquatch, Yetis, I think they're the same way. It's a different plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And like Sasquatch, they're not stupid. They know that we would cut them open, dissect them, and try to
Of
figure out how they work.
course.
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and after Roswell, I think the aliens feel the same way. So we don't catch them anymore
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we didn't do it right the first time.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
You told me a story when we were chatting earlier and talking about being on this podcast about your lovely little twin granddaughters
yeah.
before they were born. And I just thought
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the cutest story. So if you could share that with the audience, I love that story.
So my son and his husband, my son in love.
I like that. That's a cute way of saying it. Yes,
Yeah.
your son in love.
Um, they did surrogacy. When they first showed me the sonogram, that she was pregnant, they got all excited. They went out and bought a stroller, and they brought some other baby things. And I said, "Are you sure you're only gonna need one?" "Yeah, there's only one." I said, "Okay." And then the next sonogram, there were two. I knew the other one was in there. They just couldn't see, the ones behind the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And they were in the same sack, so that happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
My son-in-law called me one day, and he said, "Will you please tell your granddaughters to stop kicking her? They're hurting her. They dislocated or one of her ribs, and they might have broke it." I
Oh,
said, "Okay." Now I didn't think he really believed that I had contact with them.
yeah.
And so I sat down and meditative state. And I said, "Girls, this is grandma." I said, "You have to stop kicking. And you're hurting her. It's not time for you to be born yet. You can't come out because you need to be able to breathe." You have to wait. You have to wait. And I got this distinct picture of two little faces going, okay, grandma. And I waited 30 minutes because it usually takes, when I send energy or when I'm working on someone, it's usually 30 minutes before it fully hits, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right at 30 minutes. I called him back and I said, is everything okay now? He said, oh, yeah. They stopped kicking and she's finally able to relax. I said,
Oh,
well, good. And they didn't do that again.
they listened to you. That's
They
good.
listened to me. They
Wow.
don't listen to me now.
I was going to say, do you still have that really deep? Can you connect with them kind of on that
Um,
subconscious level or?
no, not right now.
Yeah.
I was able to do it before they started school.
Mm.
Now that they are in school and they're in Form 2, so second grade now, that's where most of their stuff is coming from. They will
Mm-hmm.
still ask me questions like, is magic real?
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about the magic they see on TV and in movies. They've
Yeah.
been watching Harry Potter.
Right.
Gloriosus, oh yeah, whatever. And I tell them, well, it's not exactly like that, but yes, magic is real. We need magic.
Yeah.
And so any place that I can help keep it or share it, I do.
Tell me a little bit about your work with others. How do you help other people? How do you use your intuition and your seeing angels to make a difference for other people?
When I know the person is coming, their angels they'll make contact. If there's something really pressing, I will hear from them minutes after the appointment is set. And I'll just tell them, I'm not going to remember any of this when I meet with her. So you need to wait. And then they'll go, okay, okay, okay. And then they hang back and they'll just wait and they'll wait. But I can always see, with like my peripheral vision, they're there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, knew you when they were living
Mm-hmm.
and chose to be one of your guardians
Okay.
when they cross over. There's usually an elder. I call an elder because it's an angel, a guardian angel that attached in a past life.
Mm.
And what they will do is, what they all do is tell me the age that you were, the client, age you were when they attached. And um, if it's a family member, I try to ask questions. I'll say what they're wearing because typically they will put on their most favorite color, um,
Mm-hmm.
something that might remind the person of who they were. If the person knew them, a lot of times the ones that attach as a child is being born, the child has no clue who that is,
Mm-hmm.
but may have seen pictures. So
Mm.
I let them know what I'm getting and what I'm
Okay.
seeing and what they're saying and um the age that they attach is typically an age when the guardian felt what they knew was needed.
Mm-hmm.
The elders are always really cool because
Mm.
they're, sometimes they're not from here. They've been from
Mm.
other planets. I've seen Romans, I've seen, what we call Native American, the indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen gypsies.
Mm.
I've had a few folks in from um during the plague in Europe,
Oh.
the plague. Um, I've seen folks from Bulgaria, from Romania, biblical times.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember. I know, they're throwing pictures at me. I had
Sure.
someone come in that had, their elder saw Moses placed in the basket,
Oh, wow.
but they weren't part of that, They
Mm-hmm.
just happened to be at the river when that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
it's just You know, the elders when they come through, I'm always excited because I never know what they're gonna bring forward. Um, they will change clothes 3 or 4 times because sometimes if they're from like from Romania or from the gypsies, they come through wearing stuff that I don't know what that is. You better tell me because I don't know what that is. What you're wearing, never seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're disappointed. And then they change into something that I will recognize. Oh,
Mm.
okay. Yeah, I know what that is.
Wow.
They will bring messages, they will answer questions most of the time. They won't always answer questions. If the angels are active and they're being heard, they're I don't see people with wings. Like I said, I see energy signatures, and their energy will be very clear, and so I know that they're engaged. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not being listened to, or they're being told to shut up, or they've been told to go away, it's
Mm.
like a button on the computer screen that doesn't turn green until you filled in all the blanks. It's like that. And they'll be
Mm.
standing back, and they won't respond at all.
Hmm.
And I've had that happen a couple of times. I had to learn how to handle that. And how I handle that is, I'm sorry, I can't read for you
Mm.
because they're not going to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not given the permission to tell them, well, it's your fault they're not talking. I mean, yeah.
But we all have them.
Everyone has them.
Everyone has guardians. Does everyone have elders?
No, not
Okay.
everyone has elders. Um,
And as you told me last time we talked, some people have two elders, apparently.
yes, I've come across um just a few people, like two, maybe three, that had two elders. And I
Mhm.
was just like, wow, really? Two? That's impressive. Okay.
And what do you think the elders do versus the guardian? What's the difference between those two?
The difference is just how long they've been with that soul.
Mm.
Because the our visions and talk of reincarnation, it's not exactly what we think, but it's in the ballpark. And they attached at this in this past life, and were so um pleased, comfortable, um with the connection with that
Mm.
person's soul, that they have continued on with them.
Hmm.
Most of the elders that I have met with, it's been, generations and centuries that they have been connected.
Okay.
Um, and so they've been through a lot. Um, does the person always listen? No. And
Sure.
so that history repeats is a really true thing, because if you don't listen when someone is trying to explain to you what you can do differently, like yeah, whatever, you guys, they stop. If you tell them go away, they stop. I never told mine to go away. I would just say, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. But I didn't heed what they
Mm.
were saying. Unless they yelled at me. Yelling at me, I still
Mhm.
don't like that.
Yeah. But usually they only yell at you if there's a really good reason for you to hear them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's when they do that, it's because, okay, all right. What is it that I need to listen to? What is it you need me to do?
Hmm.
Um,
Or
does it
not do.
happen
Or
or not
not
do?
do.
Or
Right.
not do?
Hmm. So, how can people listen to their angels? What kinds of things should people pay attention to?
They will use what you will listen to.
Hmm. So, it
Okay.
could be different for everybody then.
It is different for everyone
Okay.
because no one person assimilates, learns, or listens the same way. They will give you signs that they hear you. My angels used to throw feathers at me.
Mm.
I would see feathers all the time. Sometimes they were beautiful feathers. Sometimes they were gnarled, and why am I seeing that? Okay, they've been trying to get my attention for something. Now I know that. Before, I just used to step across them in the gutter and not pay any attention. But now I know that that's what they use to get my attention.
Hmm.
I've heard people say shiny dimes or pennies.
Numbers.
You,
I've heard people like, I know
numbers, yeah, there
I
are
notice
angels.
1111 a lot.
1111.
That's
And it's interesting if you go through and ever try to read one of those books, every single number is about your angels trying to get your attention about something.
right, right.
Okay. So it just depends on what it is. And if you respond to 1111, that's what they'll use.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever um, seen the words to a song or heard the words to a song, and
Mm-hmm.
it maybe is not the same song, but you hear those words or see them everywhere?
It's
Stop
this,
and
it's hello, yeah, listen to this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so stop and okay, where was I when I saw it? What was I doing? Who was with me? Those are the three best questions.
Mm-hmm.
What was I doing? Where was I going? Who was with
Or what do the words say too? I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
if the words say find courage or something like that, it's like maybe they want you to find courage somehow
maybe.
in your life.
It's usually not that clear.
Yeah.
The
I wish it was, but
I wish it was. Yeah.
but for
So
you it
but
is. For you it's pretty clear.
it's because I've been giving it practice. When I turned 40 and bought that first tarot deck and started listening, then my third husband said something to me that made me put it down again. I had been just reading for fun, and I was using the book because I didn't understand what I didn't understand.
Hmm.
And he told me, "You can't use a book when you do a reading for somebody." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you can't. You're supposed to know." But I didn't read for anyone for years. Put the cards away. And then one of my friends called me up and said, "I need you to read for me." It had been, oh gosh, I don't know, close to 10 years since I'd done a reading for her. And I sat down, I took my cards out, and I sat down at the table just to turn a few before she came over. And I felt hands on my shoulders and I heard, "Welcome back."
Oh.
I had a friend who was a tarot reader, and she told me, "Put the book away." She taught me how to read,
Hmm.
how to use the pictures, and
Right.
taught me how to read. And so I read tarot for several years until they told me one day I was packing to go to a fair and they said no cards. And I said, "I need to take cards. This is what people expect." I said, "You don't need them." And then I decided, okay, I'm going to test them. And I didn't use any cards that day. I never had a reason to pull them out. It was
Mm-hmm.
the best fair day I'd ever had. I made the most money I'd ever had
Wow.
at a
Wow.
fair. And I sat in the car and I was like, "Okay, all right, y'all, you told me I'm fine.
Hmm.
Okay, I got this." And then I went to pull out of the parking lot and realized I couldn't see because I had been looking into the other dimension where
Oh
they
my
are
gosh.
all day, and
Oh
my
my gosh.
vision was so blurry. I
Wow.
couldn't read the signs in the parking lot. Okay, so I sat there for a few more minutes. Ergonomics was one of the things I did in my job.
In your day job.
Yes. So I sat there and I said, okay, well, when you've been focusing on something with the tiny muscles, you have to give them a chance to relax. So
Hmm.
you find a tree and you look for a bird in the top of that tree. And I just stared into the distance for about 10 minutes. And the next time I looked at the sign, I could read it. And I said, okay, I can
Mm.
get home now. I didn't realize I was looking between dimensions while I was
Yeah.
doing the readings.
Well, and you must see like dragons and things like that. Like you said, maybe you see between dimensions, and there are times when other people can. I had another friend on the show who talked about seeing, and she said, I realized when I was seeing these beings, the spiritual beings, I was seeing with my third eye. I wasn't even using my eyes. She said it was a totally different, and
Yeah.
I've never had that experience. So I've had a lot of different experiences, but I have not had the visual, actual seeing a being
Yeah.
experience.
Well,
Um,
and not everyone does.
right.
I know people who work with angels who see people with wings.
Hmm.
Okay. I know another healer that works a lot with Metatron. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
and her picture of them is very different than the picture that I have.
Yeah.
But I know when they come through.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because it's energy. We all see energy differently. We
We
all,
all see
it,
energy differently.
I always think it would be so interesting if we could try on each other's eyes
I
or try
know.
on each other's
Yes.
perception because each one of us is uniquely seeing the energy imprints in our own world the way we see
Yes.
them. And
Yes.
yeah, I think that's so fascinating the way that everybody is so different, but yet we can come together and sort of see the same thing or talk about the
Yes.
same thing.
I used to do a meetup where it was me and another healer. Um, and everyone that came would get something from us. In a group like that, even when someone else is being read for, you will hear stuff that is for you.
Oh.
I just find it fascinating that when a group comes together like that, everybody that's present at that moment is having the same kinds of issues.
It's very strange how we see these limits in these boxes, or we are attracted to the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but you know.
It's all about frequency. It's all
Hmm.
about frequency. You know, as an author, I was told once, you know, if you don't write it, somebody else will.
Yes, yes.
When I first heard it, I took it a little wrong and I thought, okay, I'm not going to tell anybody about my idea. And I realized that's not it. It's the fact that I had the idea. That frequency is born when I
You
had
birthed it.
the idea.
Yep.
It's not whether I said it, it's not whether I told anyone,
Wow.
it's not even if I wrote it down.
Hmm.
I've had several ideas for books that I've never started on, never start, or I've started on but haven't finished or written.
Hmm.
And then I see something that's very near the title I was going to use,
Hmm.
very near the words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and
So,
this is a good segue into books. You've written a few.
yes.
And so how can people find out more about you, your wonderful books, your sessions with folks? What's the best way for people to find you?
Okay. Interest in a session, thelightofnature.com
Okay.
is my website, and you can book a session there. There's no guarantee that the time works on there because I'm in Portugal and you're in wherever. Sometimes that doesn't come across correctly, but you can rest assured that if you book a session, I will reach out to you and make sure that it's this time that you want it. My writing, you can go to sylpublishing.com. That's shineyourlightpublishing.com or brendahardwickauthor.com. It's the same website to get
Hmm.
there.
Okay.
Um, my books are available through ebook through Amazon. I'm going to be moving the ebook soon. The paperback and hardback are available on Amazon as well right now,
Hmm. Okay.
but they are also available on books.by.
And you have
You-
a podcast.
my podcast is Angel Talk with Brenda Hardwick. If you go to YouTube, Angel Talk with Brenda Hardwick is there. This last 6 months of this year, I have added a guest speaker. And so my angels, my posse up here, and I call them a posse because they will always ride. Um, my posse gives me the titles. So far, it's been really cool.
So, Brenda, before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with the audience, specifically, angel related or just living a better life related, interconnection? whatever comes to your head, or your angels. Maybe you want to ask them. It's up to you.
Okay. What I will share is this. The world is not a fun place right now anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're living. There's things that are not quite right. People are saying things that are not good. Whether it's hitting you in the chest because you're part of the group that's being spoken of wrongly or not. Even if it's just going over you, you're still hearing it. Think of the positive things. Look for the light in everything because it's there. Darkness can't exist without light, and light can't exist without darkness. What you want is to balance. Keep it in balance as much as you can. And when you can't, remember you got a posse around you. Ask for their help. And it doesn't matter how small that ask is or how big. When I say small, you can ask them, what am I having for dinner tonight? That's,
Yeah.
yeah. Ask. We have
I
to
love that.
ask. First gift given was free will. So if we think we can do it all by ourselves and that's what we're going to try to do, they have to let us. You have to ask for their help, and then they will do the best they can with whatever you've given them to work with.
I love that. That is very powerful. Brenda, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and hopefully we can talk again soon. It'd be fun.
Absolutely. I'm not going anywhere.
Me either, as far as I
Okay.
know, unless we vibrate to another dimension or something.
Yeah,
People are
well,
talking about that a lot, so I don't
that's
know.
right.
Maybe we can talk about that
Thank
next time. So,
Yes.
all right. Thank you.
You.
Brenda had some amazing stories to share, and I am very reassured to know that we all have a posse and they're there to help us if we just ask. I hope you gained something from this episode, and if you did, please like, share, let a friend know about this, and if you'd like to be on the show, go to wakingup1.com, fill out the form, and let me know what you'd like to talk about because it's a new podcast and I'm looking for guests. Go out and make today great, make your life the best you can, and thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you soon.